Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about a brand new firearms company called Trident Defense. These guys are out of East Dundee, Illinois, right outside of that city that we shall not name in Illinois where they're killing everybody. These guys are taking a pretty cool approach to modifying Glocks. Yeah, we have our companies out there, Zev Technologies and Agency Arms, that are modifying standard Glocks and doing a darn fine job of it. These guys over at Trident Defense are doing something very, very similar, but they're trying to target specific crowds out there in the gun industry, like competition shooters, concealed carry holders, or just shooters that are going out there and practicing at the range. They're trying to design guns to fit your specific need based on what you need that gun to do. These guys right here are built for speed. They've got all the functionality that you would expect in a race gun. You want to take these things to the range, and you want to probably get some range time on them like we did. Let's take a little bit further look at these and a little bit closer look and see what the insides of these look like, some of the bells and whistles that they have, and then we're going to run it out the range and see how they function. There are a lot of things that you notice the moment you put your hands on a Trident Defense firearm. Too many to name, in fact, but some of the ones we'll definitely point out are the match grade barrel. You want a barrel that is accurate. You want to get one of these and you want to specify, I want a match grade barrel. These barrels are not only great to look at, but they're extremely accurate. We took them out to the range and we had no problem hitting targets up to 20 yards away with routine precision over and over again. The trigger, there again, you want to specify what type of trigger you want. Do you want a competition trigger? You got it. You're going to get one with a whole lot less poundage on there and a lot more control and a lot less reset when you're firing that thing in competition. Extended mag release. Yeah, you got that too. You'll notice that especially when you compare that to one of your standard Glocks, how much larger, how much bigger the landing is for that mag release. Big difference right there, and you're going to need that for some quick reloads if you're shooting competition or, God forbid, you have to make a reload in some kind of a concealed carry self-defense situation. Duracoating is amazing. They do some fine finishes on their firearms and extremely durable. This firearm right here has been put through several hundred rounds, and there's not a mark, not a blemish whatsoever on the firearm in any kind of way as far as that Duracoat goes. You'll notice that they make the RMR cut on top of the slide that's going to give you a chance for a reflex sight on there. I like that because you see a lot of people going to an RMR sight here recently for competition, and even some people are using it for carry. The cool thing is if you don't want that and you don't have a need for that RMR cut, fine. They put a carbon fiber plate to fill that gap in on top. Stippling of the frame, it's nice. They do a really good job. This is all in-house stippling. You can actually specify the type of stippling that you prefer, and they can actually do that when they build your particular gun. That's a pretty cool feature. They recontour the trigger guard to add an undercut for greater control in the accuracy. You'll notice that big time, especially on this one. You'll notice how much the trigger guard is not only undercut to get you a higher grip on your primary hand, but you'll notice your support hand also has some cuts on the underside of that trigger guard to allow that support hand to get up underneath there also and get kind of tucked into the gun. Really, it pretty much bonds your grip, both hands together, to the gun as well as to each other. It's pretty cool. I like that. It really enhanced the grip. One of the things they include that I like that's probably going to encourage some people to hold and fire a firearm properly is the gas pedal cut. A lot of people do not hold their firearm properly with their support hand. Your thumbs both should be pointing forward whenever you're shooting. This gas pedal cut is going to encourage somebody to do that. If you notice, they've got a specific pad right there for you to rest that thumb on. Some people may look at it as just being for looks, but if you ask, you're going to find out, hey buddy, that's where you put your thumb. That is going to allow you to, number one, shoot more accurately, but obviously you're going to be able to control that firearm a whole lot more efficiently. The Magwell in these guys definitely aids in quick reloads. We noticed that big time, and it was actually one that didn't flare so much and didn't get so large and so out of the way that it became cumbersome. When you open this thing up, you really get to appreciate it. Looking at the barrel, the customer has the ability to choose between a standard barrel or a match grade barrel. They manufacture these barrels in-house. That's impressive to me. They don't have to wait on a load of these guys to come in. They're making these barrels as they need them in the firearms that are actually ordered or that they're putting out for manufacturing purposes. They also offer threaded barrels from Silencer Co. That's pretty cool. The trigger, like I said earlier, these triggers can be added in a couple different ways. The first way is a drop-in method that most companies offer, and the second is a hand-fitted method where Trident Defense does all the modifications. They do the adjustments, the polishing, the jeweling, everything on the inside in-house in East Dundee, Illinois. And they also offer their customers to tell them what pound trigger they want. There's a wide variety of trigger pulls that you can get. You specify what you want, what you're looking for. If you're looking for an extremely light trigger pull, that may be your competition model. You tell them what you want. If you want a concealed carry trigger pull, weight, a higher weight, a 4 or 5 pound trigger, you tell them that. The sights, these are good sights. I tell you, whenever I was actually getting my sight picture with both of these firearms on the range, had no problem with. These are high vis sights that they're using, but they also use other sights from Trident and a number of other companies as far as quality sights go. There again, you have total flexibility to request what type of sights you would prefer. Guys, I got to tell you, these pistols, they're a lot of fun to shoot. Took them out to the range. A couple of things that I talked about that I thought were worth mentioning again is that you've got your gas pedal. I really like the gas pedal, but probably a couple of features that I like most about these firearms is not only the gas pedal, but the undercut of the trigger guard. If you'll notice, whenever I hold this gun properly, I want my primary hand as high up in the trigger guard as possible. That cut that they have right under the trigger guard allows me to get as high as I possibly can. And then, guess what it does next? It allows me to bring my support thumb, that's supposed to be forward, on that gas pedal right there. If you notice, that landing is right here. And it gives me the opportunity that as I'm setting, boom, that left finger goes forward and I can punch out and I can get exactly where I need to be fast, accurately. And when I get a grip on this firearm and those two hands are one. They operate as one. Whether I'm going left to right, if I'm going through windows and looking at different types of targets on a USPSA range, it's going to allow me to keep, I've got such a solid, firm grip right here, it feels like I can't hardly let go of the gun. It's really, the feel is really good on these firearms. They did a good job thinking ahead, trying to cater to that competition shooter, but also making a firearm that, let's not forget, the CCW guys, the biggest complaint that you hear out there from CCW guys, the concealed carry folks, is that firearms in some cases are too heavy, especially when you go with a high capacity firearm like one of the 17s, 19s, or even a Glock 26 for that matter. Your ammo is weighing that belt down and really dragging your pants and your holster down. By having all these cuts that they have in the slides, the frame, they even cut on the inside of the Magwell in some cases to remove material to lighten the load a little bit. That's going to aid in your concealability to be able to comfortably conceal and carry as many rounds as you want without feeling like you have to give up rounds for weight, because you're actually losing that weight in your firearm and you're not actually having to give up the capacity in that respect. You may be thinking, can the slides hold up to this kind of abuse and all that, as far as how much material's been taken out? I got to tell you, we ran dirty ammo. We ran some steel case 9mm. We ran a bunch of that through. It was 250 rounds. Between these two guns, we shot them both about the same. 250 in both guns, not 250 between them. And then we shot another 300 rounds in each gun with arms core ammo. Not one single malfunction. The frames don't show any signs whatsoever of weakening, any kind of stress areas. There's no signs of anything on here. We took it apart, looked on the inside of it as well. The barrels, to me, are very well made. There's a certain amount of fit that goes into this, not like a 1911 obviously, but these guys have to be, because everything is so precision made, they still have to be made properly so that you're not having some unnecessary wearing of material somewhere. And I feel like Trident did a really good job making sure that any kind of filing or polishing that needed to be done anywhere on the firearm was done so that you didn't have that unnecessary wear, which is going to cause a little bit of issues as far as potential shooting issues, cycling, and things like that. I got to tell you, I was so encouraged by shooting these firearms and so impressed with these folks. I ordered a Glock 26 for myself for concealed carry purposes. I'm not sure that I need it as decked out as some of these bad boys are. I'm not looking for it to impress anybody. In fact, I hope that it's hardly ever seen, to be honest with you. But from a functionality standpoint, I was impressed enough with these guys to know that I would trust my life and my family's safety to one of the Trident Defense firearm Glocks. And a Glock 26 is going to be on the way. It's actually being processed right now with these guys. I want to thank Ty, Romeo, TJ, the guys over at Trident Defense. Super guys. I'm going to tell you something. We know these guys, and if their personalities have anything to do with how they're going to control customer service and quality control over time, let me tell you something. You're going to get a firearm that not only works outside the box, but let's say it doesn't. You're going to have the luxury of being able to talk to, most likely, one of the owners of the company to resolve your problem. And that speaks volumes for companies these days, because one of the biggest things with the rush and the flood, a lot of these firearms companies getting so popular out there, is customer service has taken a dive, a big time dive. And I see these guys control their customer service themselves. They directly handle quality control, so there's a very good chance you may be only calling these guys to tell them how good your firearm performs. Check them out, Trident Defense. They actually have a really cool website, tridentdefense.us. Go in there and take a look at some of their firearms. Check them out on Instagram. They actually have an Instagram out there that we'll link to. Go to our Instagram at Legally Armed America. We'll actually put them down in the comments here on YouTube. A link to their website. So definitely go check them out. Like them, forward them, share them. You're going to be hearing a lot about these guys. Also subscribe to us, Legally Armed America, here on YouTube if you can. We appreciate that. We'll be looking at some more cool firearms from them very, very soon. When I get that Glock 26 in, I'm actually going to do a little bit of a review on it from a carry perspective and show you guys how well it carries. I'm going to put the weights in there and let you really see how this firearm compares to another Glock 26, which I already have. So I'll be able to run those things side by side. Looking forward to that. Thank you guys for tuning in. And again, subscribe to us if you get the chance. Thanks, guys.